It was just Mayberry. It really was.
It's just nice to be out, you know, you can sit on the porch and watch the birds.
It was absolutely the dullest little town, but I loved it.
I was raised in Rome, as were my parents. My parents were graduated from Rome High School, and I went to Rome Elementary School, and then of course to Northwest. My dad owned a restaurant in Rome, and my grandparents owned a grocery store. At that time, Rome was, of course, a small town, but it was a very busy little town because highways 114 and 287 merged together and went through the middle of town at that time. So it was a very, very busy little town. It was a very self-sufficient little town. We had a bank, and we had a restaurant, and we had a grocery store. Life was very simple.
So we all four trucked down there, and she explained it to us and showed it to us. It was a little shotgun house, and it had this whole big room that was full of telephone equipment. And Mom said, well, I don't know about this. Here was this switchboard sitting here with the drops and everything, but I fell in love with it, and I thought, I can do this. I was 11, and I thought this will be so much fun. So she did it. She had been cooking at the cafe, and that was when the Marine base was up here. And oh, they were so disappointed because she quit cooking, you know. But anyway, we moved into the telephone office.
Everybody knew everybody's parents. They knew their grandparents. My grandparents went through school with their grandparents. There were no secrets in Rome. 0 secrets. My mother, when she was young, you would pick up the telephone. You had every little town had their own telephone company. And you'd just pick up the phone and you'd say, my mom, she didn't even have to identify herself. She would just say, Ruth, ring down to Mama's. And Ruth would ring down at Mama's. And one time she did that, and Ruth Hall was the operator's name, and Ruth said, now Peggy, you know your mother gets her hair fixed on Tuesdays.
I looked up because I didn't know about the movie theater, and that was built before World War II, and I didn't know that. And they said it was because of the Marine base, which is where Copeland is now, which all those service people came to the area and lived up there because some of the girls then the community married the Marines, some of the Marines that were stationed up there.
At my grandfather's store, my uncles all worked there, all besides my dad, who had his own restaurant. But the restaurant was so busy in those days that, because of the highway going through, that he stayed open for several years. He stayed open 24 hours a day. Back in those days, you could buy a plate lunch, which would be a selection of 3 or 4 different meat items, and then it would have 3 vegetables and a little salad and homemade cornbread and rolls and your drink, and it was 90 cents.
It's had 6 different names, and I can't tell you all of them. One of them was Odessa, but I can't remember all of them. But it was named by a conductor or an engineer on the railroad that came through. And evidently he was from Newark, New Jersey, and he named it Newark at the time. And that stuck, so that was finally the last name.